Machine translation. Hello, I was making a short circuit generator here for my heating system using economical thermal elements TEPL. Looking for video inventors on the topic of rotor spin-up during a short circuit, and wanted to compare it with my designs. I came across other videos with experiments that I conducted some time ago. Well, about 10 years ago. I want to say, if you have an idea, then implement it immediately, even if another idea appears. Well, I remembered those experiments, and what I wanted to test, but did not do, considering it useless just like other people. Because the books say that this is not possible, tested by all sorts of different scientists. True, then I did not find the effects that emerged later in other experiments. But now everything is adding up to one thing. I finally came up with one, without a braking magnetic generator. In existing generators, in order to prevent the rotor from sticking, the number of coils and magnets is different, but at the same time, they lose generating power. There are many different attempts without breaking on the internet, but most of them are the same. Only the wrapper and presentation are different and the results are finite. Some people do mechanics, and some do a circuit for interrupting the current of the generated coil. That is, at the moment the magnet comes out, so that it does not stick. The circuit turns off the load or switches the energy flow to the opposite. The magnet repels, but you can do it differently, without a scheme. I had videos on the channel about a 1-to-0 coil, a magnet coil, but I had to remove them. The essence of the coil design was that it had bidirectional winding. For example, a coil has 10 turns, 7 in one direction, 3 in the other. There is current generation on one side. You turn it over on the other side. There is no current generation, but there is voltage. Well, so, in order to avoid sticking and not create circuits with a transistor and a Hall sensor, a downhole 3-turn coil just be placed either at the edge of the magnetic circuit or at the end of the coil without a magnetic circuit. But in this case, the current generation is still less and more difficult to configure. You can do it differently. Assemble a rotor with magnets with the same poles to the side and connect a pair of diodes to the output of the generating coil, which will withstand the current passing through them. The diodes are connected according to a circuit, one to the output, the other to a short circuit. But the current output is also smaller. I tried it on low-power diodes, but even here, there is a trick. 95% of those who try to do this will not succeed. And it's just a matter of diodes. A high-speed Schottky diode should be installed on the closing, shunt diode, and a fast or ultra-fast diode should be installed on the output. It would seem, well, diodes and diodes, what difference does it make? But no, onto identical ones there will be rotor braking. Even if both are Schottky diodes, the short-circuiting diode can also be used in chemical batteries to speed up the reaction and produce high current. Why am I saying this? Every little detail matters to be noticed. Therefore, attention to detail is even more important than the idea itself. And if this little thing is removed from the structure, then the product will not work the same way or will not work at all. Edward Leeds Scorlins, builder of Coral Castle in Florida, did the same. Having figured out how the ancients used sound and vibration to process and move stones, he removed one small part from his multi-kilogram vibration generator structure, because he understood that without it, no one would start or understand the structure. By the way, this part was never found, and this is an ordinary tongue from a bell. At first, John Keeley did not advertise his sound vibration technology, with the help of which he launched his fine-tuned mechanisms. But then when investors began to judge him for alleged fraud, who wanted to arrive immediately, he already openly spoke about the sound resonance of objects. But they did not believe him without even checking. But the ancient Egyptians, on the contrary, painted their sound and vibration technology on the walls up and down. but in our country Egyptologists saw nothing except far-fetched gods, and the rest of the seekers see either a light bulb, or guess and speak correctly, but stubbornly turn the search results towards electrical engineering or something even worse, such as communication with the alien universal cosmos from a flat Earth. But in fact, pyramids are banal infrasonic vibration transmitters and receivers, broadcasting interfaces in a modern way. I've fully outlined how they worked in my videos and on the website infrafon.ru, and most importantly, how they communicated with each other using a low-frequency carrier wave. Since I assume that a fairly large number of people will watch this video, I will not reveal the secret of the anti-brake structure. And here's why. I saw one video where a man cried that he did not have enough laboratory with equipment and money for materials. At the same time, he showed a workshop with machines, instruments, tools, and other materials from which you can even make a spaceship. I don't understand such people. Well, if you already have enough of everything, why are you asking for more? I have a living room of 12 square meters, of which a workshop of 1.5 square meters, where I conduct my experiments, just like most seekers living in apartments. Of course, the saying suits me. The need for invention is cunning, or in a modern way, poverty will not disappear. But I want to expand my living space to at least 2 separate rooms in an apartment, or better yet a house, where I can finally show all my developments in full measure. And for this, you need to sell at least one invention. Is there anything wrong with this? But the money doesn't stick to me, but only the commentators who write. Show it, tell it, give it to us. We ourselves know what to do about it. And die yourself. And it doesn't matter that I can do anything else useful. For many years now I have been trying to tell our ministries and manufacturers that it is possible to build a new type of high-speed transport, suspended with a magnetic well effect using permanent magnets, and there is no need to power maglev with electricity, as for an entire small town, and even a golden track consisting of magnets with rare earth metals is not needed. Those interested in financing the construction of the plant need a business plan, which is difficult to develop and very expensive. I don't have all the design diagrams in my laptop, smartphone, flash drives, or paper. I consider all of the above technologies to be children's level technologies due to their understanding and simplicity of physical processes, as well as their manufacture on the knee. So now the phenomenon you expect of a brakeless generator. That is, one that has no influence of coil remph and sticking on the iron core. I'm sure many of you have done this, seen it, studied it in physics. In a couple of my videos, I talked about the magnetic field, what it is and how it works. Let me remind you briefly here. So, for knowledge, all matter consists of magnetons, particles of a magnetic field. Any atoms, particles of quantum physics, are clumps of magnetons pressed against each other. For example, a small magnet contains an amount of magnetic field equal in volume to several hydrogen atoms. Basically, magnetons are united particles, but in a suitable crystalline environment, for example iron, they not only try to shrink, but also line up in chains, trying to grab more brothers and spread into a new suitable environment. In the MEG video, I showed experiments with the propagation of a magnetic field in the body of a magnetic circuit. How to limit or enhance it. Yes, you know that yourself. Then I didn't really attach much importance to this. I was experienced with the overlap of the magnetic field of the magnet. I saw that the result was only from a burst of the coil, and that was all. The idea arose of blocking the magnetic field with the help of iron, but it didn't come to experiments. I thought about doing it later, but I forgot. There are a lot of ideas, but there are not enough funds for everything. And recently I remembered, when watching similar videos, and I connected to halves of different apples. The design of the generator may be different. For some reason, such a magnetic circuit has the best performance. First, I will show a regular generator, a magnetic circuit with coils. The coils are wound anyhow, and a magnetic rotor. Naturally, the brakes are 4-iron. There will also be such coils on this side. Now with an anti-brake system. Due to the fact that everything was not done accurately, there is a slight sticking. The magnet system is more difficult to set up. You will understand this later. It is better to make an electromagnetic one with a controller board, like a gas generator, that this leads to energy consumption. Fix several design errors. I strengthened the fastening of the magnetic cores, otherwise I bent the fiberglass. I replaced the axis of the rotor disc with a thicker one, but it still turned out to be an 8-piece disc that presses, causing it to rub against the fiberglass. I had to make a gap of 1 mm, which affected the output results of the generator. The magnetic cores and magnets themselves do not match. Everything is wrong. Grouped coils of almost identical cross-section, 0.55 to 0.6 mm, and the amount of wire wound. A pair of coils have a short connection to the magnetic circuit. Due to incorrect dimensions of the internal window, I connected it in parallel, so there is more current. Drill speed 1300 per minute. The multimeter is a little glitchy with the dots. Readings when connecting coil blocks in this way. Readings when connecting a load of 1 ohm. $40V for a diode bridge reading. With a load of 1 ohm. Readings when connecting coil blocks in this way. Readings when connecting coils and coil blocks in series. Load lamp 220V. Well, with a riser, it will naturally burn brightly, just like LED ones. But these readings do not matter. Everyone has different designs and sizes of magnets. The method of eliminating breaks on this type of generator with an iron core is shown here. The main thing is to calculate everything correctly. There is another similar design, purely magnetic. Since electromagnetic will be energy intensive, it does not need a control unit and is easier to manufacture, but more expensive due to the double number of magnets.